Good morning, boys and girls in class 7. Welcome on board on among my online learners. You've been in the cold for long, but I have remembered you. Welcome today. I want us to begin with science, and I have chosen a topic, environment. I hope you had done the other topics, and so I have chosen to begin at environment. And karibu sana and feel at class. Now, we would like to begin with the meaning of environment. The meaning of environment. What the word environment means. What the word environment means. Now, environment refers to the surrounding, any surrounding of a living thing. Any surrounding of a living thing is called environment. Any surrounding, anything that surrounds a living thing. Let me write it in that simple language. Anything. Anything that surrounds a living organism. A living organism. An organism is a thing, a living thing. Any living organism. Anything that surrounds. What is found a living thing? Now, living things are plants and animals. Plants and animals. And so a plant is a living thing, an animal is a living thing. And animals include many other animals. I know we have the classification of animals, the vertebrates and the invertebrates, And the vertebrates include the mammals, the reptiles, the amphibians, the birds, and the fishes. Those are the vertebrates. And so all those are living things. What is found around them, that is its surrounding. That is its surrounding, or that is its environment. And so, can we begin to name things that could be found around living things? Boys and girls, we can see we have air around us. Air is around us. Air is an example of environment. Okay? What else is around us? We live on soil, and so soil is part of it. Yes? Could we also say water? Could we also say water is part of it? Could we also say other animals? Other animals are also part of environment. And if they are animals, also plants are part of environment. Where do we live, boys and girls? We live in buildings, houses. So buildings are also part of environment. What are buildings made up of? Stones. Stones. Stones are part of environment. And so there are so many things that surround us. There's so many things that surround us. We can mention them. The list is long and endless. Yeah? Even the metals, even the plastics, anything found in our environment is called, around us is called environment. Now, let's look at, having known the meaning of environment and cited some of the examples of the organism or the things that surround a living thing, we want to look at the components of environment. What is environment made up of? What is environment made up of? So what environment is made up of is called components of environment. And so here, the components are divided into two. Boys and girls, components of environment are divided into two. And these include major components. Major components Major components of environment and minor components of environment. Major components of environment and minor components. The name suggests that major are very important or very big, whatever. Big in size, important, then minor, less important. Now we are going to get to that. Let's look at these major components of environment. Which ones are they? The major components of environment would include, the major components of environment would include, do we say air? Air is a major component of environment. Yes. Water is also a major component of environment. Boys and girls, water is also a major component of environment. Soil is also a major component of environment. Soil, plants, earth, and animals. These are the major components of environment, boys and girls. Air, water, soil, plants, and animals. These are the major components of the environment. Major in terms of their importance, Now, from the above components of the environment, we can select two that have life. This one is a living thing. Animals are also living. So we have plants and animals that make up the living components of the environment. Get that and mark it in your brains, that plants and animals make up the living parts of the environment. Let's mention some minor components of environment. There are so many minor components of environment. Minor components of environment are so many. That's where we find sound. We find light. Light is a minor component of environment. We can find heat. We can find buildings. Do we say buildings? Yes, buildings are also. Now we can find other tools like food. Food is also. We have. Do we say wind? I know wind is the moving air. Wind. So many others are components, minor components of environment. These are minor components, not so important. Plastics, those ones are minor components. Metals, they are minor components. You can make a longer list than this one, boys and girls. Now let's discuss water. We want to discuss water. And water, air, soil, plants, and animals are parts of the major components of the environment. And because they are major components, it is important that we discuss them. We want to discuss the major components of environment. So we begin with water. Where do you get water? There are sources. And the sources, you can learn these in class 3. Sources of water. You can know the sources of water, the rivers, the rain, the lake, the oceans. Those are some of the sources of water. because water does not just exist, it has some sources. And even wells, don't we have wells and boreholes? There are also other examples, the other sources of water, wells, boreholes, and those ones. Those are the basic sources of water. Now, what is importance? Why is water important? Why is water important? There are several uses of water. Because water is important. The growth of plants. Growth of plants. Growth of plants. So plants need water. Growth of plants. Do animals need water? Yes, animals need water. Yeah. Domestically, domestic use, water can be used at home domestically for washing clothes, washing the houses, the utensils. Then can be used in chambers for irrigation, for the growth of plants. Washing our body, we need water. Running machines, industrial use water for running machines and cooling machines. So that is industrial use. Do we use water also for recreation? Recreation is a very important part of our environment. So we need it so that for skating, sport, fishing, those are activities. Skiing, water, skiing, and sport fishing, swimming, those are recreation activities. Water can also be used for transportation. This is where boats are used, the ferries, the ships, yeah, the ships for transportation. Water is so important for transportation. Are we together? So those are some of the uses of water that we know. So for plants, germination of seeds needs water. Growth of plants and animals needs water. It is also a raw material. Raw material. We can say a raw material used in factories. Material used in factories. So water is important. I want to state something very important about. I want you to note this. It is the largest component of environment. So when you are asked which is the largest component of environment, you should answer water. Let's come to air. Let's come to air. Air is a mixture of gases. Air is a mixture of gases. Yeah. So many gases come together to make air. And these gases may include oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. We have rare gases. These rare gases may include argon. The rare gases may include argon, I think nickel, argon, nickel, I hope that is the right spelling of rare gases. These rare gases are also called inert gases. Rare gases can also be called inert. Inert gases. Yeah. So those are examples of gases that make up air. Air is found everywhere. Air is in water, air is in soil, air is in the atmosphere, and so it is found everywhere, right? In any component of environment you'll find air. We breathe air. What do we breathe in as animals? We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Now, part of carbon dioxide is used by plants to make food through a process known as photosynthesis. Yeah. During the day, the plants take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and take out oxygen. But in the night, oxygen is taken in by plants and carbon dioxide is released. Now let's look at components of the gases, components of air, the composition of air. Now, nitrogen carries the largest composition. 78% goes to nitrogen. 78%. Some books say 79 and now. Carbon dioxide is number 2 with 21%. Some books say 20%. Yes. And then carbon dioxide. Rare gases take the third, 0.97%. 0.97% goes to the rare gases. And then 0.03 goes to carbon dioxide. It's the least, 0.03%. So this is the composition of air. You can see that. This information can be represented in a pie chart, and we'll see how they are divided in a pie chart. Boys and girls, that is all about air. I know air has a lot of importance. Yeah, we've talked about carbon dioxide, we've talked about oxygen. Oxygen supports burning, supports life. Oxygen is needed in germination. Oxygen is needed in rusting. I hope you understand that. Oxygen alone, yes, burning, that is burning, rusting, germination. Oxygen is also needed in for respiration. So it supports life, oxygen. That's oxygen alone. Now when you talk of carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide is a preservative for preserving. So it's a preservative. It's needed for photosynthesis. It's needed for fire extinguishers, fire extinguishers. So we will go on with the details about these gases. Nitrogen is good for fixing bacteria. It's good for fixing proteins in the soil, nitrogen, and for making fertilizer, nitrogenous fertilizers. Rare gases are used in bulbs and fluorescent tubes. Yes, those are very important parts of the environment. Now let's look at soil. Soil is the loose part, the top loose part that covers the earth. So the top loose part that covers the earth is soil. The top loose part that covers the earth is soil. Soil, it's the earth's surface. Let's write there the earth's surface. That's what is up on top of the earth's surface, the top loose part that covers the earth's surface. Somebody said somewhere it forms 25% of the earth. 25% of the earth is covered by the soil. Yes? Soil. Very, very important. Why is soil important? Plants grow, plants grow, let's say plants grow. Number two, some animals live in the soil. Some animals live in the soil. They are called burrowing animals. They live in the soil. Yeah, they are called burrowing animals. Soil. Another importance of soil. It provides plants with water. Soil. It's also a raw material for construction. Raw material for construction. And pottery. For construction and pottery. That is soil. Now, if time allows, next time we will learn about plants and animals. Those are the living components of the environment. Remember, the living components of the environment are two, and those are plants and animals. The rest are non-living components of environment. Boys and girls, I hope you have understood. What have we learned today in science? We've learned about environment, and particularly we've learned about the meaning of environment, that it is the surrounding of a living organism. And we've mentioned some of the surroundings. Then we have learned about components of environment, and they are divided into two major and minor components of environment. Now we have gone down to discuss the major components of environment, and we have listed them down. They include air, water, soil, plants, and animals. And we have particularly said that plants and animals comprise of the living components of environment. We've also discussed minor components of environment that include sound, light, heat, buildings, food, wind, cold, metals, plastics. All those ones are under minor components of environment. Now, because major components of environment are important, we have discussed each one of them. We have discussed about water, we have discussed about air and soil. Boys and girls, I hope I have reached you. I hope I have included you in my online learning lessons. You are invited even to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll find several videos that you need for your revision and learning today. I've covered concepts, and so please have a lovely time.